What's happening, boys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Friday night Smackdown review. And this one was an interesting episode, but yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so we kicked the show off with a Jacob Fatu promo, and I'm gonna be honest, it felt very recycled. It felt like exactly what he said on Raw. Basically, everyone's been doubting him his whole life, and Roman doesn't think he's ready. And then the Usos music hits, and they come out, and they're basically like, Jacob, you could have joined the family and had everything you wanted, but now it's too late. It was a nice little sequence between Jimmy and Jay there. Jimmy was playing like a good cop, like you could have had everything, and Jay went, nah, you missed that opportunity when you stepped up to Roman, which I quite liked. I think that they bounce off each other really well. Obviously they're brothers, so it makes sense. And then Soul Soko's music hits, and he comes out with MFT to the ring, and he's basically like, Jacob, do not join the family, join us, because we've got an army, and you need an army to beat Roman, which, I mean, not a bad point. But why would he join you lot? Like, you screwed him over, and, like, you're a bunch of goofs. Like, the only relevant ones in there is Soul Soko and Tama Tonga. The other two are a bit, But anyways, Tama Tonga takes the mic off Soul and is like, why are we involved in this? This is not our battle, which is a very fair point. So then he decides to have a dig at Fatu and goes, you don't think you could beat Roman? You can't even beat Soul. And he gets a super kick for his troubles. And in the background you can see Jimmy and Jay absolutely pissing themselves with laughter, which is quite funny. Jacob goes with the most relevant point. He doesn't need to speak to any of these people. He just needs to speak to Roman. Which is literally the most, like, logical thing ever. Like, he doesn't care about any of these other people. He just needs Roman, because that's who he's facing. I didn't mind that from Fatu. It was an alright promo between the lot, but yeah, let's move on. And then we had the Women's United States Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Julia. And before the match, there was a little bit of tension between Kiana James and Julia backstage. So I'm not too sure where that's going to lead. Maybe a turn for Kiana James, I'm not sure. But we'll see where that one goes. But the match itself, I'm so disappointed about WWE not featuring this division on telly whatsoever. Like, it's so sad because there's so many good talents in it. Like, Tiffany Stratton being inserted, fair. But Julia, wow, she is very good. But the match overall, it was solid. It done its job. I think this could have got on WrestleMania, but whatever. WWE don't think very much of this division. But it's very disappointing that they don't. There were some really cool spots in this match. Tiffany Stratton went for the prettiest moonsault ever, and it was reversed into a really nice submission by Julia. I'm not too sure what the submission's called, which is a bit unfortunate, but it was a really good counter. There was some other really cool spots. Julia hit a neck breaker to the outside of the ring from the ring apron. That was nasty. But yeah, I think this match was overall very good, and Tiffany Stratton went on to get the job done after a little bit of interference from Kiana James being pushed into Julia and causing her to lose it, basically. She got hit with a roll-up and then prettiest moonsault ever just after, and that's one way to go for Julia. The disrespect being put on Julia. They didn't even have the decency to keep her side plates on for this match, which is really sad, because you basically knew Tiffany Stratton was winning, which, I mean, is a bit disappointing because I like Julia, but I don't mind Tiffany Stratton because this division might get a boost now. I'm not too sure, but yeah, a new Women's United States Champion in Tiffany Stratton. Not a bad match whatsoever. And then we had a promo with Brie Bella and Paige, and it was interrupted by Charlexa asking for a match, essentially, which they obliged to. And the match kicks off. I mean, it was an alright match. It was a bit of a nothing match because it wasn't really a match for the sake of a match. It was a match to build up a debut. And the debut was JC Jane, Fallon Henley and Elaine Reid. Fatal Influence. And by God, these girls got heat. Were basically booed out the stadium for attacking Charlexa, Brie Bella and Paige, which, I mean, is perfect for them because they're heels. That is a way to make your debut if you're going to make it. Attack some of the biggest stars, and they did. They got that heat they wanted. So I'm going to say they're probably going to get a decent push because, wow, they were hated from the get-go. And then we had a really good Cody Rhodes promo where he basically called out everyone. He called out Randy Orton, he called out Sami Zayn, and then he did the big one, he called out TK It's side news, shortly. He basically went, the higher-ups upstairs have been involved in 3 of my WrestleMania matches, and you're 0-3. Stay out my business. And that was a big message. I was like, okay, Cody. So he's basically talking directly. He's like, Pat McAfee, Travis Scott, and The Rock being involved in these matches to screw him, and they still haven't been able to screw him over. But I would technically say Travis Scott screwed him over, because he did lose at Mania 41. So, I mean, Cody, you didn't get that right. But, yeah, it was a good promo. I really enjoyed it. It was a good call out. I'm not sure if this is shoot promos or actual storyline at this point. I'm feeling like it's going to be a storyline. But, yeah, not a bad promo whatsoever. And then we had R-Truth and Damian Priest versus the MFTs, and I'm going to be so honest with you, I didn't watch this match. I went and made food. I didn't care for it whatsoever. But I came back to see the MFTs lost, and I guess that's, like, going to further the storyline of the MFTs crumbling. Like, Tama Tonga's rebelling, the MFTs are losing, I don't know, but we'll see where it goes, because I just really didn't care, I'll be honest. But yeah, sorry about that if you care about that match. And then we had Trick Williams' celebration of the United States Championship win at WrestleMania, and then honestly, don't make me think about it. Yeah, honestly, I could cry right now. Like, the most dastardly heel turn in all of sports entertainment happened. The gingerbread man turned on Trick Williams and Little Yachty. I couldn't believe it. He did the Seth Rollins. There's always a plan B. Like, Jesus. It was so brutal. I'll have nightmares thinking about that. But yeah, crazy. But in all seriousness, it turned out to be Sami Zayn. And yeah, I mean, this furthers his heel turn, which I don't mind. And then he hit a fucking emote. Like, he danced on them. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And then we had a Danhausen versus The Miz match, and I mean, I guess it is what it is. It was pretty fun. He used the curse to stick up Pyro again. And I'm going to be honest, Danhausen is not a bad wrestler whatsoever. He pulled off a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Like, I mean, it's not, like, incredibly difficult, but, like, you wouldn't expect that from him. But yeah, if you've watched him before, he's actually not a bad wrestler. Especially in that Kit Wilson match. He actually had some really good moves. But it was pretty fun. It was a goofy match. And The Miz sneaked under the ring to catch Danhausen once he tried to escape, and he bumped into Kit Wilson, allowing him to escape. It was pretty funny. Like, I like Danhausen, he's very goofy, but don't let him hear you say that, he will curse you. Then we had a Rhea Ripley promo, and it was interrupted by Fatal Influence. Like, what? 2 appearances in one night. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god. And I'm like, this is main event scene. Like, they've been pushed heavily. I'm enjoying this. And they basically interrupt Rhea and are like, yeah, we are here to stay. We are the next big thing. And then Rhea goes, I thought Jade was cocky. And then basically just gives JC a match. And honestly, the match wasn't bad. JC Jane looked pretty solid. I wanted to see that rolling encore during the match, but we didn't get to see it because, fortunately, but Rhea went for a riptide during the match, and that's where it just all fell apart. Fatal Influence attacks her and makes a statement, quite frankly, in my opinion. They absolutely annihilated Rhea, which, I mean, for them was crazy. And during the promo, bloody hell, the nuclear heat they got was unreal. Honestly, textbook stuff. Like, if you were to put in a textbook of how to debut as a heel, that is what would be in the book. Unreal debut from Fatal Influence. Then we had a main event match between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, and I mean, it was alright. It was pretty standard Jacob Fatu versus Solo match. But Jacob Fatu picked up the win. There was nothing really to write home about. The MFTs got involved. Tama Tonga hit a really nice clothesline off the stairs. But that was about it. The match itself was a bit boring. It was more the aftermath, which picked up where MFT attacked Jacob Fatu after he won, and they got absolutely slaughtered because the Usos came out distracting the MFT, and Jacob Fatu slaughtered them with a chair. Like, it was kind of brutal. But yeah, it was an alright episode of Smackdown. Not my favourite, definitely not my favourite, but yeah, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. It's just standard at this point. SmackDown's gone down the hill and Raw's the A show. And that is it. That is it for my SmackDown review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to be honest, this was a bit rushed because I wasn't actually here last night when the episode was live. I watched it once I got up, made the whole video, and it's been a bit rushed. So I will be honest, if you found this a bit rushed and some of the points were nonsensical to you, I was doing it most of it off memory, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my points, my opinions. But yeah, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and thank you for watching. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's it. Route 2 in a